Welcome to episode 6 of Mentor Matters. I am your virtual mentor, Kay Corinne. Please like, share, subscribe. All right, see how I'm getting better and better with that? All right. So today is the first day of spring, so I thought it would be pivotal to do a video about what spring can and should mean for us as we transition through the seasons. So how should we maximize spring is the real question. How do we make the most out of the season that we're in? Because again, everything is about alignment. So when you're in a particular season, you dress for that season so that you're in alignment with it. You're not dressing for winter when it's warm out. When it's warm out, you're not dressing in rain boots because you're aligned with what's taking place around you. But that's not just in our wardrobe choices, that's in all of our choices. So today we're going to go over some of the biggest themes that relate to the spring, as well as what we should be doing mentally, physically, spiritually, to take advantage of this time of year and make sure that we are flourishing along with the earth around us, right? So major themes are going to be innovation, birth, beauty, well, the natural beauty of the earth and everything that is within it, growth, productivity. We all know the term April flowers bring May showers. So in the spring, we are largely thinking about the summer. We are coming out of hiding. We finished our hibernating. Hopefully we spent the winter resting, recuperating, and spending that time with friends and family, right? So now as spring blossom, so to speak, we are going to be socializing more. That's one of the main things that's going to change from winters to spring is we're coming back outside, right? No matter where we live. So what type of people are we looking to meet? What type of people will we want to network with? What type of events are we attending? What are we reading? There are just so many ways to be aligned and ready to enjoy your spring and to do so with purpose and intention and the right set of guiding principles with us, right? Being cognizant, practicing presence. So one of the main things that we're going to experience going into the spring is the opportunity to be more active. The average American gains something like 8 to 15 pounds in the winter. So one thing that we'll be experiencing is increased activity, which is going to result in a little bit of weight loss. We're going to get more fresh air. So we're going to get a little healthier as we transition into the spring. So what does that look like for you? Is it taking walks on the trail? Is it going to visit friends and family externally? So outside of your household, going to visit friends and family on Sundays. So what does that look like? That social aspect tying into that activity aspect and making that really work for you, not just in your relationships, but also with your fitness level. Now you can go biking. If you're here in Chicago, you might want to take a jog on Lakeshore Drive. So these things are happening as we are preparing for the summer, hopefully lining ourselves up. Wow. So to me, one of the best things about spring is you're combining the summer and the winter. You're still being productive, because you're working behind the scenes in the winter. So you're still working behind the scenes in the spring, but now you're working on the forefront. If there are any projects or anything you've been working on, this might be the time for a soft reveal or to get somebody's opinion on it, to kind of start inching your way out there. Now you're going to transition from the sweaters to your short sleeves, but you're not quite crop top or bikini ready, right? It's this transitional space that is grounded in productivity. That's what's so cool about it, because you're having the fun in conjunction with taking the steps that are necessary to catapult yourself to whatever your next level may be. So what is going on in our minds during this time? It's all about the next move. Are you looking for a promotion? Are you looking to take your athleticism to the next level? Now's the time to get some increased practice in. Are you ready to introduce a new program where you work? Are you ready to start your own business? Are you ready to get a pet project up off the ground? You've toiled over it in the winter. You've thought about it. You've reflected. You've decided that you're going to do it. So what the spring would mean for us all mentally is productivity, launching that podcasts. Now, some people say podcasts are overdone. I disagree. If you have a message and you have something to say, there is someone else on earth that wants to hear from you, that is going through what you're going through, that relates to you deeply, and it costs you nothing to put it out there. So now's the time you're gonna start doing those pop-up shops. You're gonna work on some fresh designs, whatever it is that has kind of been on your heart as you transition from 2022 to 2023, because that transition happens during the winter. We go into a new year, but we're still in the same season. So when you move from that transitional space into longer days, you could take advantage. You could go outside and stay outside. You don't have to rush back home by 5:30 if you don't like driving at night, or when the temperature drops, you prefer to be at home. So one of the biggest themes, going back to that, is going to be opportunity. Spring brings opportunity, so you want to be mentally ready to take advantage when those opportunities start moving in. If you haven't prepared anything, when opportunity knocks, what will you have to offer? So spiritually, this is where kind of like I start. For the purpose of this video, I started with the bodies, but for my personal life, I'm going to start with those spiritual things. So it's going to be a reflection and a refreshing. So the reflection is, how did I spend my winter? That's an open-ended question. Because maybe you didn't spend it preparing for anything. Maybe you haven't been plotting on any particular thing. That's fine. But how did you spend it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Was it a trying time for you? Did you struggle during the holidays? Were you super hopeful? What were some of the themes that were taking place in your life in the later part of December, all of January, all of February, and up until yesterday in March? What was going on in your life? Were you experiencing a lot of frustration? Were you in a great mood most of the time? So you're going to take that reflection from the winter and you're going to apply it to your spring. You're going to fill in the holes of the things that you found out about yourself over the winter, or found out about your goals. Have you decided to make a pivot? Are you taking a new approach? Did you take any leaps of faith in the winter? Because now is the time that you'll start to see the fruit of those things, internally and externally. So you'll feel better. On Game of Thrones, there's this thing about winter is coming. So theoretically, winter is the hardest season to go through. So now that you've transitioned out of winter, how do you feel? Was it a difficult season for you? And if it wasn't, it's a good way to bet that you're going to be trending upwards, right? Because the trees, the grass, the days, the weather. So in the physical realm, things are looking up. So they will naturally have that same trend in your spiritual life. Or did you commit to your practices? Were you working out? Were you meditating? Did you do any yoga? Did you do any reading? Did you reset anything? Did you redesign your home? What did you do in the winter? And now should be the time that you take your winter steps a step further, but also enjoy the fruits of that. And all of these things are happening in terms of our energy, creating higher and higher vibrations as we move into the spring and eventually the summer. So once you complete your reflections from the winter, then you can start your refreshing. And the refreshing is editing things that need to be edited, jump starting what needs to be jump started, and hitting the reset button on things that were just a bust. Because sometimes things are a bust. Not everything is going to have some type of beneficial solution. I don't believe that. Sometimes it just was not what we needed it to be. So reflect on your winter and then work towards refreshing yourself in the spring, and just giving yourself everything you needed in the winter that you didn't get, giving yourself more of what you got that worked for you, and making those adjustments along the way. And the mental and the spiritual is going to tie in, because what were our thoughts like in the winter? Did you have mostly positive thoughts? Were you worried in the winter? Did you go through any life changes over the winter? Did any level of tragedy or negativity take place within you and your family, or your work life, or your network? So refresh. Well, you'll refresh after you've completed your full reflection. So now, what will the spring mean for the relationships that are already in place. So we know we want to move forward, meet new people. You never know. You're always one conversation from being a millionaire. I really believe that. And not everyone's goal is to be a millionaire. Maybe your goal is to be impactful. Maybe you're a philanthropist. Maybe you want to raise $1 million for others. Whatever that particular thing is, now you'll be able to nurture it. So things come into fruition and then they get nurtured. Things are conceived and then they are taken care of until the point where they can blossom. So what can you do to nurture your relationships that are already pre-existing? No matter where that relationship falls on the spectrum, someone, a mom, so I'm thinking about intimate relationships. So because of the theme of nurturing, so it's going to be something that you're playing kind of close to the vest. So let's think your children, your parents, your partner, siblings, if you have a close relationship, those people that are right there in your life in the physical. How are you responding to them and how are they responding to you as we transition into the spring? Hopefully you all will be able to continue to nurture your bonds and spend increased time together. And the spring is an awesome time for addressing things. Maybe you're super close with someone and there are just certain conversations you haven't had. The spring is going to give you the confidence and the freshness and the fresh perspective and the right words to really bring that concern to them and have your concerns heard and listen to their concerns. So it's a great time to nurture relationships. Maybe you want to plan a trip with your significant other. Maybe you want to take your children out of town. Maybe you just want to go somewhere within the city you live in that you've never been in. You've been living there your whole life and you've never been to this one destination. The spring is a good time to make that happen because it's going to coincide with your creativity and your natural innovation and the things that inspire you. So spring is designed to be an extremely inspiring time. But in order for it to be that, we have to be actively tapping into it. We have to keep making it inspiring and taking advantages of those moments, the daylight, the exposure to friends and family, the fresh ideas, the reflections from the past. We have this big old gumbo pot of all these things that come together to make spring really sparkle for us, right? In our professional lives. So in most places, the budget closed in December and it reopened in January, but not a lot of people transition jobs and positions in the winter time. It's the holidays, people need the consistency. So now is a huge hiring time. So if you're looking to make a pivot, spring is the time. Get the hell out of there. If you don't want to be there, if you're not happy, you spent the winter dragging yourself to work every day, not just because it was cold, but because you don't want to be there. Now is a great time to start looking for that next move and doing so with thought and intention. It defeats the purpose to flee one bad work situation to just jump into another. So I have a motto that I say, if it's not 100% yes, it's 110% no. So that means when you are out here on this job search, you're looking to make this pivot, you're not just looking to get out of there. You're looking for something that's aligned to you, your purpose, your calling, or whatever you feel the most inspired by right now. We're not always prepared to make a decision for the next 10 years of our career, or 15 years of our career. Maybe there's one thing you'd like to explore a little more deeply. For myself, I'd like to get a little bit more into fundraising and grant writing. So it's not so much about always trying to build upon the last salary or build upon the last title. Sometimes you need to expand your knowledge base. So when you're looking to make this pivot, think about what's naturally calling on you. What would you like to know more about? What would you like to do more of? This is a great time for that. And as I said, it's always a good place to be in, to be working towards your next personal goal, your next fitness goal, your next creative project, and those things that exist amongst you in your intimate spaces. That's always going to be what informs your external decisions. So continue to be mindful of that. It's also a great time to take a chance. So you probably said, you're thinking, well, yeah, you just told me you quit my job. That's the biggest chance. Say, no, there are a lot of chances that you could take. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be an emotional investment. It could be an investment of time. It could be an investment of energy where you normally wouldn't give a lot of space to it, but now you're going to take the chance to put some additional time and energy into it. It's a great time of year to start volunteering. It's a great time of year to put yourself out there in all ways, shapes, forms, because there's this refreshing, nurturing, peaceful yet productive energy that's catapulting us all, it's pushing us all. So everything is just a matter of how you make these themes and concepts work for you. They should not sound like another to-do, like something else I have to check off my to-do list. It shouldn't be like that. It should be, I wanted to do this anyway, and now I've gotten the confirmation that this is where I can put my energy. My instincts are leading me in this direction, and now I know that I'm in alignment as I pursue them. If there's nothing like in your mind or your heart that you want to do, or that you want to explore, or that you want to build upon, you're just drawing a total blank, I'm going to ask you to do an activity where you remember the answers to those questions when you were a kid. Because even though you may not want to be a teacher anymore, there was something on you that craved educating people. And there are many ways to educate the masses or to educate people in your life. It doesn't have to be teaching. So if you're drawing a blank, like, yeah, it's spring, great, fantastic, but what does that mean to me? I have nothing to work on. There's nothing in particular I want to do. I'm in a rut. I'm content. I don't feel like I can capitalize in any deep, impactful way. I'm going to ask you to grab yourself a paper and pen and be deeply reflective and think about when you were 5 and someone asked you what you wanted to do or what you want to be when you grow up. What did you say? What about when you were 10? What about when you were 15? By the time you were leaving high school, what was the plan? And did you take steps to fulfill that plan? Was it not a good time for you? Can you realign yourself with that plan if it's still meaningful to you? Or maybe you can make edits and tweaks and brush up on that plan to something that more so suits who you are now and the needs that are in the world. Yeah, sure you can. Sure you can. Sure you can, because everyone has answered that question. What do you want to be when you grow up? At least once. So if we can start there, we can always work our way to the right answer. It doesn't have to start at the right answer. It just has to end at the right answer. There are also exercises called brainstorms where you sit down and you just write every word that comes to mind. It's like random words, kind of like you're just doing sticky notes and putting them on the wall. And it's just words that mean something to you. Then you start to narrow it down. What are the top 5? Then you start to think, now, why do these words mean something to me? And then you can take that journey. So there are a lot of ways to find where you should be headed. There are a lot of guiding lights and instruments out here to get to where we're trying to go. And it be fun and engaging. You shouldn't be sitting there like, I don't know what to do in a stressful manner. If you have no idea, then you should be more excited than any of us, because you're about to go on a journey to discover who you are and what you should be putting your energy into this season. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention that it's not just any spring. This is spring 2023. So if you are a Bulls fan, a Chicago native, or even someone watching us from afar, you know that this is our Jordan year. So for it to be the Jordan year, along with a spring coming out of quite a frosty winter, the weather was all over the place this year, especially toward the end, which I found interesting. For winter to start so mild and then end with like freezing temperatures and jump right into spring after that, there's a little something behind that as well. But if you have no idea where to start and you try the things that I suggested and you still don't know, comment below and we're gonna work together to bring some type of rough draft. That's what I call it, a rough draft of how you want to spend your spring. Another big part of spring is going to be your rituals. Are you waking up every morning with some kind of plan in mind? Do you work out, drink a glass of lemon water, say your affirmations, hop in the shower and play some music? Something as simple as that is a morning ritual, is how you power up to start your day. Do you wake up, stretch, have a cup of green tea, and then read a page from a book that you're reading? Then hop in the shower, start your day. Do you wake up every morning and cook first? Do you wake up every morning, wake your children first? What is yours? And this system isn't just what you happen to do. It's what you do to align yourself and set your intentions for the day by starting with the known. This is the known right here. This is my system. This is what I wake up and do. This is what makes me feel empowered, energized, productive. This is how I start my way off in power. And then you keep that momentum for the rest of the day because you've harnessed it the first thing in the morning, top of the morning. So the major themes of spring that we want to capitalize are, so as you know, I have to do the recap, are going to be innovation, birth, natural beauty, growth, refreshing, aligning, freshness. Freshness remains one of my favorite words. And as a result, with our bodies, we're going to really tap into being active. With our minds, we're going to really tap into creating and planning. In our spirits, we're going to be reflecting and refreshing. And our relationships, we're going to put extra energy toward nurturing. And in our professional lives, we're going to get out there and take more chances. Spring, fling. Even though this isn't a traditional spring fling, I feel I'm going to tie it in some kind of way. I flung information around something because not many things rhyme with spring. So let me know what you all think. Thoughts, questions, concerns. I'd like to see you in the comments if at all possible. If you have time to drop me a line. If not, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.